How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We made it to the weekend. 1 weekend of John's suspension. I'm Jim here, his brother, and folks, I'm exhausted. It's great that we have a network, all of us working together. TGI Friday, SHT Friday. Shit has hit the Friday, folks. It's Friday night. The weekend is here. And wow, the shit never, ever seems to let up. I hope you are plotting your way through it intelligently, smartly, efficiently, and you're getting prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, folks, along with your plan. Why? Because we've been documenting this for years now, the direction we're going in. And there's an incredible amount of pressure on me, well, especially since John is suspended, but there's an incredible amount of pressure on all of us, I should say, to get the message out. I decided to start the show early with the preparedmind.club commercial, because the club has been really instrumental in getting products that we have all tested, we have all used. One way or another, we've gotten some good reviews on them ahead of time before we recommend them to you. And these items, depending on where you're at and what point in time, folks, are going to be either life-saving or they're going to make you much more comfortable than you would be otherwise. I'm praying that we all have our trusty AR-14s. Thank you, Joe Biden, for that one. I'm trusting we all have our AR-14, our AR-12 gauge, our whatever it is for self-defense, crossbow, whatever you have, that you hold it tightly in times of need and it comforts you, and that you don't even have to use it. But just having it alone will give you what? Satisfaction and comfort in knowing that you are protected. That's really what all of this prepping is about, is before SHTF comes to your neighborhood, you can relax and know that you've got everything you need. It is so critical to be in that place, calm, prepared, planned. Now, let's get into the rest of the world, shall we? Something that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's unbelievable, folks. Makes no sense whatsoever. Southwest Airlines has said it's not going to fire workers who don't get the cerveza bug Jim Jones juice. They're not going to fire them. This is what they have to say regarding the December 9th deadline. And he says, this is an evolving process, working with the government in terms of what they expect. Now, that's just a fucking magical line right there. I like to critically analyze stuff and go, hey, really? It's an evolving process? Yeah, it's evolving from liberty all the way down the line to fucking tyranny. It's evolving from having rights to being a frickin' peasant. That's how it's evolving, right? Unbelievable. And they're trying to work with the government in terms of what the government expects. Folks, shit has hit the fan when corporations are worried about what the government wants instead of worrying about what is right, what is lawful, and who runs this fucking country. It is the people that run this country. We do it through our Constitution. We approve or disapprove with our voting, which should count, lawfully count. We're in big trouble, folks. Heap big trouble. To use an old expression that probably these days is considered racist, except I think I'm authorized to use that expression for reasons that are personal to me. Anyways, let's go on a little further here. right? They say that December 9th, if they're not perfectly in compliance, it's okay. How can that not be okay? You're going to suffer fines in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? They say it's a work in progress, and we're going to continue working in good faith to meet the requirements of the executive order. But I've already said, and I'm sure you've heard, that we're not going to fire anybody who doesn't get vaccinated, says the CEO. Well, wait a moment, back the fucking bus up. Beep, beep, beep. The requirements of the executive order, there is no executive order. There is no legislation. There is no statute. There is nothing. There is nothing. So they're working in good faith with a microphone. Unbelievable, folks. Is Southwest being fair, smart, or are they biding their time until December 9th? This is something we need to do as well. We need to say, what do we need to do to stay out of trouble until that deadline comes? That deadline, folks, is when the government gets so far out of hand that people start shooting back. And I say shooting back, not shooting at them, but shooting in response to being fired upon. It is coming at some point. Not trying to scare you. You probably won't be the one that gets shot at. It'll be someone else out there, but we'll know about it. You'll hear about it. When the time comes, you will know for certain. It's time to do this. Thump, 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 click, clack, snack, whatever noises your toys make. You'll know what time it is, folks. Right? Is the court going to rule before December 9th that this non-existent mandate is unconstitutional? Folks, courts can't hear it. There's no standing. There's nothing on the books for them to consider. It would be great if a court says that literally. How can we hear a case about a mandate that doesn't exist? And then that gets going to the news media. News media is in the bag. They won't say a fucking word. It's all bullshit. There's no written executive order. There's no mandate anywhere. It was a press conference. And it was likely to do exactly what it was done, and that is scare companies into firing people if they don't get the Jim Jones jab. The threat of huge fines for not obeying a bullshit non-existent order was enough to push their sick fucking agenda further. That's all this is about, in my opinion. Now, of course, who am I, right? Who am I? Folks, it's the end of the week. It's the weekend. Get your questions into Jolene, because I got the first half of the hour. You guys got the second half when we get to the Q&A, and that's if you're on Patreon, you're live right now. Monday through Friday, live, with a few exceptions. This week has been a trial in and of itself, but hey, shit is hit the fan, so we can expect more kind of troubles out there. Anyways, get to Patreon, $2 a month, 7 cents a day, and you're going to either talk to me or John and on a daily basis. Plus, you're going to love the worldwide weekly wrap-up that's coming. I've got a doozy for you, and I think you're really going to like it. Now, moving on, folks. I saw this, and I can't remember who in the R Syndicate sent it over to us, but it was pretty funny. People are going into Target, Walmart, big box stores, Home Depots, food stores, pet stores, and they're having someone, they're looking for a friend. His name is Lesko. I'm trying to get a hold of my friend. Can you page him? He told me he'd be here, but I can't find him in the store. But he sent me a text and says he's here. I just need you to page Lesko. And they're like, Lesko, yeah, his last name's Brandon. And so the people are getting on the thing and saying, Lesko Brandon. Folks, take it to the streets. Lesko Brandon. What a great way to troll big box stores that are in the pocket of, fuck Joe Biden. You want some Let's Go Brandon? Okay, look for Lesko Brandon, right? You can't make fun of people's names anymore. People can have the most ridiculous fucking names. Long gone are the days when someone's name was, well, Oliver or John or Brandon. Long gone are the days when your name is Frank, or Dean. Now you can have any name, right? Like, I'm not making fun of anybody, but you know, Hunter, that's what you do when you go hunting, right? You're a hunter. Is it a name? I guess it is. I know, but you can't make fun of names. So they can't make fun of Let's Go. Go to the store, your store, and have them page Let's Go Brandon. Thought that was fucking funny. Wanted to share it with you. Oh, and speaking of that, here we go, folks. Representative Posey out of Florida. That's right, a United States House of Representatives member from the great state of FU, Florida, was on the House floor, was talking at the microphone, was making a point, and he said, "Let's go, Brandon." Folks, that's one step from openly saying to the tyrant in charge, fuck you, fuck Joe Biden, is what "Let's go, Brandon" means. Yeah, fuck Joe Biden. Right there on the House floor. One step away, folks. Understand, we're one step away from openly, through our representatives, in the U.S. D.C. government, that little pile of shit dirt stamp in Washington, D.C. It's getting nasty, folks. It needs to get nasty. It has to get nasty. We don't have any choice. And this here, I know that John has warned me. He said, hey, be very careful. But this is an urgent message. It's for Patreon only if you want to see everything. And I'm going to say 3 words and then stop, because I can't say anything past that. Vaxxed people are There's unreported facts and truths out there, folks. There's a story at Alex Berenson's website, and you can get the link on Patreon. Folks, that's one of the big benefits of being on Patreon is you get links to articles, news stories, special presentations, jokes, videos, doctors, nurses, experts from around the world, experts that aren't recognized by, you know, CNN, Fox News, the same companies, folks, the same media companies that told us who won the election. We were told it's going to take weeks to figure out who won. And then they flipped the tables, did some fancy footwork, some shuffle of some boxes, and voila, the next day, Joe Biden was announced as the president. Funny how that works once you get your fraud in order. Now I want to say this. How bad, folks? How bad are the socialist globalist Democrats? How bad are they? Well, they're pretty fucking bad. But it's even worse when a Russian leader makes 100% sense. It makes the people in charge of this country look like fucking evil bastards. Vladimir Putin, right? Same name as Dracula. Vlad Dracula, right? From history, a real person, Vlad Dracula, Vlad the Impaler. Terrible name, right? Well, Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, he just attacked the educational demand for the acceptance of transgenderism in children's education. He called it, quote, simply monstrous, criticizing the wokeism of the West. Folk, it's beyond wokeism. It is a destructive agenda designed to ridicule, put down, destroy, and replace our traditions, culture, beliefs, morals, nation, and laws. That is what wokeism is. It's anti-American, it's anti-freedom, it's anti-Christian. It is anti-everything that you believe in. If you believe in it and it's good, wokeism is against it. It is, by calling it simply monstrous, I think Putin is being generous. But how bad is it, folks, when Vlad makes sense and the people in Washington, D.C. make absolutely no sense? When it comes to thinking about America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, what the fuck is going on, folks? Thank God it's Friday. I need a couple of hours to relax, right? I'm the number 2 guy in charge. I need to relax this brain right now. The director of the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, her name was Walensky. A lot of people, well, I can't even give you an opinion about her because that just might be contradictory and misrepresent what the mainstream media thinks. Anyway, she says that the United States, the CDC, may change its definition of fully vaccinated as booster shots become available and recommended. That's right, all of you out there who have taken the Jim Jones juice. You've gotten your zombification taken care of. You drank the Kool-Aid, thinking, okay, I won't have to do it anymore. I'm not gonna have to take any more chances or risk any more. Well, guess what? Every time they say you need to have this now, you're gonna have to get it. How many do you need? With everything that's going on, all of the discussions by the experts regarding natural immunity. Remember when herd immunity was a big deal and we were battling? It was cerveza bug versus herd immunity and herd immunity versus cerveza bug. Now we're at the point where it's the Jim Jones juice versus natural immunity, and which one's better and which one's more effective and which one do you need? And then we start getting stories about, well, you need both. You need to both contract the disease and get your natural immunity. Then it'll be even better when you get your Jim Jones juice on top of it. I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. I'll be happy when I get through 2021 and my DNA is the same thing it's been all the time. Just like my brother John's, just like my brother Tom's, just like my son. Never mind. We're all normal. Unbelievable, folks. Now, this was incredible. I couldn't believe it when I read this shit. The Attorney General of Arizona, not Merrick Garland, Attorney General of the U.S., that pile of shit. I would love to meet these fucking people and say hi and go, hey, Merrick, I'd like to get you a drink. Let's go to the bar and get a drink. I bet you'd like either a pink squirrel or a fuzzy navel. Yeah. Or maybe a shot of Jägermeister. I bet you'd love that. Let's sit down and talk and then tell him what a piece of shit he is. But we're not talking about Merrick Garland. I'm talking about now Mark Bronovich. He is the Attorney General for Arizona, and he sent out a letter that said, quote, states can and should take every opportunity to reassure the citizens that their vote counts. All righty, Captain Obvious. Way to fucking go. Way to put it out there. How about this, dickhead? Having our vote counts. Having our votes count includes the Attorney General taking action and convicting those who commit voter fraud. You want to reassure us? Do something about the fucking crime that has occurred. Whether it's in the voting booth or whether it's in the counting phase or whether it's in the cover-up of the crimes. Tax fraud should not be allowed. The Attorney General, you need to grow the fuck up and grow a pair of balls to match your title. Otherwise, move over, man or woman, someone who's got some cojones needs to step in there. And this is incredible. I mean, speaking of cojones, folks, the President of the United States, Xi Biden, so smart, so powerful, so charismatic that the world couldn't help but vote for him. He didn't even have to fucking campaign and got more votes than anyone ever. Joe Biden. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, another stalwart intellectual. General Milli Vanilli, traitor extraordinaire, who could work with his Chinese enemy to reassure him that he wouldn't follow any orders coming from Trump. And then the Pentagon, oh my God, and the Joint Chiefs, the rest of them, so brilliant, they handed over the country of Afghanistan to retards. They gave $85 billion worth of equipment, munitions, guns, bullets, Gatorade, meals ready to eat, uniforms, and fucking operable, weaponized drones. I wonder if those drones are going to make their way over here to the United States of America. Talking about hunker in the bunker. Fortunately, those drones can't get to me. But I don't think that the Taliban is going to target me anyways. So if the bunker here gets disasterized, yeah, that's not a Taliban attack. Anyways, the point is, folks, these idiots give the country to the Taliban, and so the BBC goes on to make them look like they're just the good guys, right? They're now running the country. So they get some turbaned dickhead sitting in a chair at a desk with books around him and have an interview. And then they ask him, and I thought this was fucking brilliant, can you point to Afghanistan on a map? Show us where Afghanistan is in the world. You know what this fucking moron did? Well, he picked up a globe, was sitting on the desk, you know, another prop. It's known as a prop in television entertainment. Things are props, right? This could be a prop. Ooh, yummy yum, prop. This guy picks up a globe. It's intended to sit there and make him look worldly. He picks it up, folks, and he cannot find on the globe, on a map, where his own nation is on the planet. And these are the fucking people that we had to surrender to. These are the people that were coordinating attacks, that were going to take back the country, that we had no fucking choice but to leave Afghanistan. Now, I mean, let me put it bluntly. I don't want our troops and our people there anyways. But because they were there, they should have been removed at an appropriate time in an appropriate manner, such that we don't leave behind tens of thousands of Americans at the time they abandoned the country, folks. Unfucking believable. And still, the government doesn't know how many people are there. You're going to love this shit. Are you ready? Are you ready for an end of the week slap to the face? In August, the State Department of the United States, DC government, you know, stationed up there, headquartered out of DC, that little 5-mile square pile of shit area. The State Department in August said there's only about 100 Americans trapped in Afghanistan. Well, now, sometime in October, apparently they're already reproducing and having lots of babies, because now they're saying there's at least 363 Americans stranded in Afghanistan. Do they have somebody? Do they have somebody for, remember being told that for everyone stranded in Afghanistan, we have somebody working with them individually. There's one agent for every one person stranded. Remember that lie. I'm thinking, well, if you have one agent for every person, then you should know exactly how many Americans are stuck over there. Where the fuck did they pull 363 out of their ass? 363 Americans. Someone in the world of numerology get a hold of that one. That's John's a little more inclined to understanding numerology than I am. But still, I mean, 363, weird. What a number. Hey, by the way, State Department, thanks for lying to us. Thanks for being disingenuous. Thanks for being dishonest to all of America and to those Americans stranded over there. Stranded in a third world country run by a bunch of retards with rocket launchers. Way to fucking go, U.S. government. Unbelievable. Folks, oh, by the way, right now, live, as we're live on Patreon, I know we're live. But this will eventually get over to YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, I would like to ask you, right, to cut and paste the URL, the address for this video. Send it to friends, family, loved ones, co-workers, so they know and understand how dire the situation is. They need to get prepared. They need to be prepared. This is not going to get better, folks. It's going to get worse. You don't want them to knock on your door and say, hey, I'm coming to your place. Shit has hit the fan. You can't afford to feed everybody you know, folks. And people need to be responsible for themselves. But, you know, YouTube, it could be gone. YouTube is one of those things that could disappear. They're trying to, I mean, they gave John a strike last week. 1 week ago on Friday, gave him a strike. They could give a lot more and just kill his channel. So I'm doing what I can to help, but folks, you can too. By being on Patreon, you guerrilla fund all of the efforts with the Prepared Mind Network. You keep the lights on, you keep the spam in the cupboard, you do everything that's needed by signing up at Patreon. So we're going to run a little promo here. Patreon, it's what's for breakfast. This is unfucking believable. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's Friday, folks. Shit has hit the fan. TGIF. You guys all love Jen Psaki. I know you love Raggedy Ann and the fact that she says, I'll circle back and never gets back, never closes the loop, leaves you hanging so your mind is working on shit that she's fucked up. Well, guess what? She has a deputy press secretary, and her name is Karine Jean-Pierre. And she was asked about the Biden's climate change agenda. It's stalled out in Congress because legislators all over the country are pushing back on this fucking pile of shit, right? What, it's going to be somewhere, what, $3.5 to $5.5 trillion, this Green New Deal, Build Back Better bullshit by Biden? Unbelievable. So the deputy press secretary kind of tells us what the Biden administration and the globalists, globalist corporations, globalist families behind them think. You ready to hear what they think of us, you, our country? Well, she was specifically questioned about the measure not being included in the final draft that makes it through the House of Representatives. But she clarified everything by announcing the dictatorship of Herr Biden, the Führer Biden, and says, quote, we don't need Congress. We can do it without Congress, as I just laid out. They're announcing now publicly, folks, that they can spend trillions of dollars, take away your rights, destroy your country, and they don't need Congress. Essentially, like Adolf Hitler, the dictator of Nazi Germany, they just said, we don't need Congress. And they told Congress in Germany in 1933, go home. We'll call you later if we need you. We don't need your help. And here's the quote today. We don't need Congress. We can do it without Congress, as I just laid out. Thank you very much. Twit of the day, Karine Jean-Pierre, Deputy White House Press Secretary. The fucking gall. Temerity. What a bitch. Washington is full of scum, folks. Scum that believe this, that they don't need the Constitution, that they don't need us. And I'm going to give you one more big spoonful of fuck you, America, from the Biden administration. Are you ready for this one? It just gets better and better, folks. And I'm being absolutely a smartass about it. It's not getting better. It's getting worse and fucking worse. The President of the United States, Joe Biden. Joe, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black Biden. Joe, who insults everybody, has implied, folks, mocked Americans who argue that the Jim Jones juice infringes their personal freedoms. He implied that unvaccinated Americans are murderers who, quote, kill people with their COVID, end quote, close quote. I can't believe that fucking quote. This is dangerous rhetoric. It needs to be condemned. He needs to be condemned. Period. Folks, everybody can spread COVID, whether you've had the tequila shot or not. everybody can get sick, everybody can spread it, everyone can end up in the hospital, and everyone can die. The same way everyone, whether you've got the Jim Jones juice or not, can get in a fucking car accident and die. In other words, it's all the same. But what he's doing by using this sort of inflammatory, retarded language is he's giving fuel, rocket fuel, to dumbasses, dumbass Democrats who just need talking points to encourage their ridiculous belief systems. This ridiculous belief system that they have now is that if you don't get the Jim Jones juice, you're a murderer. Divide, demonize, destroy. Hegelian dialect, create a problem, surveys a bug. The people clamor, demand a solution. Tell us what to do, please. Okay, your answer is the Jim Jones juice. Drink that Kool-Aid, folks. It's so good for you. Here we are. 18 fucking months later, 19 months later, 20 months later, from the time they started this, you need to lock down. We're gonna flatten the curve. We just need to give doctors a chance to learn what they're doing a little more. We need to make sure we don't run out of medical supplies by taxing the system too fast. To don't wear a mask, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear a mask, wear 5 fucking masks. It doesn't matter. Get your Jim Jones juice. Everyone can go back to normal. Oh, wait a fucking minute. They'll never be normal again. And by the way, Christmas is canceled. Fuck these people. This is America, and we need to stand up and say, not just say, but demand. And it's being done right now. And I recommend everyone do it without violence, without breaking the law. Folks, understand who is the law and where it comes from. God, people, Constitution, government. The Constitution creates the government. Once the government exists, it doesn't get to go back and say, well, fuck you, Constitution, and fuck you, people, and we're now the God. That's not how it works, but that's how they're playing this. Folks, we need to demand that our country be returned to us. But we need more people. You need to spread the word. Now, it's time to get to the Q&A.
Are you ready?
Wow. I tell you, stepping in for John full time is not easy. This is Jim here, your host with the most, wrapping up Friday, and it is time for Q&A on the Prepared Mind channel. We've got Warpaint checks up, says, let's have some fun. I hear we have a new 4-star Rear Admiral. What are your thoughts, Jim? Well, let me tell you my thoughts. This 4-star Admiral is in the Health Corps, which is not a military branch, even though they wear military uniforms. When I worked in the entertainment hospitality industry for 10 years, as an executive management, we would have these Health Corps workers come by, federal healthcare workers, Health Corps workers, right? And they wear captain bars or lieutenant colonel leaves and major. I'm like, okay, major. I didn't know what to fucking call these people. They're civilians wearing uniforms. As far as this one is concerned, the person being spoken of is the first transgender secretary of whatever, Rachel Levine. My thoughts? What a fucking joke. Are you telling me there is not one fucking person in this country, 350 million Americans, there's not one person more qualified to run that department, that job, anywhere in the country, anywhere, anyone? There's 50 states. Even if every state took their number one person and said, federal government can't have them, we need them for our state. Okay, then. The 51st most qualified person in the country, please step up. It won't be Rachel Levine. Americans have made jokes for decades. My thoughts, Americans for decades have made jokes. Boy, what did I put in that? I'm going to have to need some Scottish water while John's not paying attention. I get into his stash. That people who claim special victim status, special American status, get the job not based on merit. And this is why I would never want a job where they go, you know what? We don't have enough white, middle-aged, male, European descendant guys over 6'6" in this office. So we're going to hire someone based on those criteria. We need someone who is over 6'6", male, white, European descent. I'd be like, dude, you're giving me that job because I match the fucking description you're trying to make look. Like, oh, here comes a tranny. Oh, we need one of those in the administration. What's the least important fucking job that the president can put that person into that they might be qualified for? Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Let's move on, though. Latin American Preparedness always has good questions when I watch and listen to what he has to say. And he writes this: people are being coerced on getting the Jim Jones juice with their jobs being threatened. Children have been getting the Jim Jones juice without the parents' knowledge at school. What can people counteract the jab? How can you counteract it? On the Prepared Mind Patreon channel, we have put up numerous videos. We have put up the recommendations by doctors and other healthcare experts as to how to detoxify your body, how to remove as much as you can, how to help give your body a chance to fight off the toxins that it's been burdened with. That is where you need to go. For me personally, I have a stash of goodies. And I can't say the words. I get John to kick my ass, or at least we get an arm wrestling match where both our arms get ripped off. I can't say, folks. I literally am not allowed to fucking say. But it's on the Prepared Mind on Patreon, and hopefully maybe Jolene can do this. Maybe there is a list of ingredients, a list of things you can buy at the preparedmind.club. Some things, folks, you can get on Amazon. Other things you have to get directly from a single source. There's an amino acid you can get, and it comes from Bronson. I have that one, but I can't say the name of it. It's been removed by Amazon, folks. Why? Because people heard it helps your body detoxify itself. There's all kinds of medications out there that are getting black eye from mainstream media, while I am 100% certain the same mainstream media, what do they call them? Personalities. You mean they're not fucking geniuses? They're personalities, right? I'm sitting here. Am I a YouTube personality, or do I have more of a claim to being a fucking genius? Well, certainly compared to mainstream media personalities, I must appear like a genius because they're idiots. But I bet even those idiots have a doctor that gives them the exact ingredients that you should be taking to deal with any side effects. And I'll tell you right now, don't you dare. I'll give you a little bit of Jurassic Park. Don't take that horse dewormer. Don't do it. Don't do it. No matter the fact that many others have taken that exact pharmaceutical for the exact purpose for which the government says you shouldn't do it. Okay, let's move on. Daniel says this: Jim, you're the man. Don't tell John. Tell you what, John's done a great job. Love that guy. Smart, brilliant, handsome. Oh, wait, that's my twin. Anyways, thank you very much. Vincent Boyle. This is the guy who's over there in Ireland, Belfast, Ireland. Folks, this is an international broadcast. We have people staying up all hours of the fucking funky day to hang out. And on Sunday Night Live, oh yeah, Sunday Night Live. I'll be hosting that apparently. Not only will I do the worldwide weekly wrap-up uncensored, I'll be doing Sunday Night Live, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Be there, be square. But we got Vincent Boyle says, wifey says Jim is better looking than John. P.S. Don't tell John. I'm going to get in a lot. I'm going to eat bowl loads of shit from him over this because the jokes have started. Yeah, John's face is fatter, you know. Jim has a better sense of humor. He's more articulate than that crude bastard John. Anyways, good stuff. Thank you folks very much for having a sense of humor, for understanding where we're at and why we have to take these necessary steps. Why John's brother Jim has to come on and sit in for him permanently, not just on a part-time basis. When you guys aren't looking, I show up and I, John, he's out there swinging the fucking hammer. And maybe he won't be as fat when he gets done. A little more grateful for the climate control goodness of the bunker. Anyways, we got Michael Brown says, do you think the weapons they left are for us? Do you think the weapons they left are for us? Michael, I don't understand. What weapons? The weapons they left are for us. Oh, I think I get it. Do I think that the United States government in Washington, D.C., the U.S. D.C. government, left all of those weapons in the Taliban's control in Afghanistan so that the Taliban and other terrorist organizations could transport those very same weapons over here to the United States of America and use them against us in terrorist actions? I don't know what they intended them to be done with, but now that they're no longer in the military's control, the answer is, yeah, if the Taliban wants to use them against us, who's going to stop them? It won't be the border patrol where the U.S. D.C. government has failed to stop immigrants from pouring in the millions now. Folks, this is our country. And foreign illegal people are coming here to take advantage and to destroy our country. They've even told us they're here and they're committing an act of war. They're ready to go to war with us. So yeah, the Taliban can come here and use those weapons against us. And it would not surprise me if a pile of shit like Lloyd Austin or General Milley, and I am calling into account his integrity, his patriotism, his everything about him, his competency, his intelligence, his morality, his decency, the fact that he's destroying the United States military along with others. Lloyd Austin, just pieces of shit. The American people have no respect for those people in Washington, D.C. None at all. And how can you blame them? Look at what they've done. Look at all of the military men and women, soldiers, airmen, Marines, sailors, who are going on TikTok, who are going on Instagram, who are going on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and putting up videos saying, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to stand by and accept what the government is demanding of me. I'm going to have to accept being discharged, being charged in a courts martial. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to allow them to destroy me personally while they destroy the entire military in the United States of America. That's integrity. And that same integrity is being chased out of the military by the likes of General Fuckwad Milley and Secretary of Dumb Fence Lloyd Austin. And the just shameful pile of crap occupying the fake White House movie set, Gigi himself. And they think, folks, they know, they believe, and they are intentionally destroying this country. They have a hatred for the United States of America, for our flag, for our founding fathers, our Constitution, our tradition, our beliefs. They don't want it anymore, folks, and they are in a position to destroy it, piece by piece. Let us move on. We got Gary D. He says, question for Jim. How did it evolve where a bunch of bureaucrats' opinions mandate has the weight of a law? It has taken decades to get here. It has taken decades of judicial review and failure. That is, when the government, whether it's an executive order or a law or statute created in Congress. The judiciary is an activist organization. It is no longer applying the law. It is now interpreting the law. Let us look at the difference really quick. Now, both John and I have a pretty good grasp of both the English language and law. This is the law. People have a right to say what they want, worship as they will, keep and bear arms. They have a right to be protected from unreasonable searches and seizures, right to the ability to not, right, have, be forced to testify against themselves. All of these things, all of these, right? The states have a right to determine for themselves all those matters which aren't specifically enumerated within the U.S. Constitution itself. That's the 10th Amendment. All of these things are cut and dry, black and white. They rest upon the common law and maxims at law. They rest upon the Declaration of Independence, which is explicit in its terms, and the Federalist Papers work on all the nuances. Though they themselves are not law, they are the arguments made for and against all the things that ended up in the Constitution. Now, moving forward, judges have decided they're going to interpret the law. They're going to look to its spirit and the intent of it. Is the intent good or bad? Instead of saying and applying the law to it and saying whether you think it's good or not, whether you intend to do things good or not, it is unconstitutional anyways. Important note, judicial activism has provided the de facto authority by which bureaucracy says, hey, we're in charge. In a lot of ways, another way that they do this, folks, is Congress writes, I'll take that back, lawyers, left-wing leaning globalist pile of shit lawyers for decades have written the laws. They hand them to Congress, who then pass them without understanding a fucking word of it. The president signs it. Then those papers are handed to the bureaucrats, who then say, and they interpret this legislation and write it into the Code of Federal Regulations. In other words, they take a law and then they go, what is the spirit of this? What are they trying to say? What do they want us to do? And they interpret that. Yet again, kind of like the Bureau for Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has decided one day that bump stocks are bad, or they've decided one day that a short-barreled rifle is this or that, or they decided one day that a high-capacity magazine makes something a machine gun, right? They make up fucking rules. That's just the ATF. Then you have the IRS, that you have the entire Code of Federal Regulations, everything, folks. It is their interpretation and intent which is looked at and measured by the Supreme Court and other judiciary now, rather than applying the actual fucking guidelines. Or dare I say, forgive me, Lord, the Constitution is not guidelines. It's actual fucking rules. Unbelievable. Great question, Gary. Thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to explain how fucked up bureaucrats are and how they go about screwing us all in the ass, to put it bluntly. Let us move on. We got an incoming message from the big giant head who says this: man, with prices going up and diminishing availability, I'm glad I purchased Berkey on 6-month PayPal, no interest. If I have budget in 6 months, the price may go up or become unavailable for purchase. Now, I'm going to say this. We've had a lot of people buy the Berkey water filters through the preparedmind.club, going there and going to My Patriot Supply and buying long-term food storage. The Berkey water system satisfies the first two of our food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. We have other great links at the preparedmind.club. Folks, we don't warehouse shit. All we do is say, come here, we found this, and it directly links you to it. And then you buy from their store. You buy from their warehouse. You get it shipped from there. As far as the Berkeys go, and everything, folks, inflation is having a huge effect. So much so that even dumbass Jim Cramer at CNBC is now jumping up and down like a hobbit on acid, screaming and yelling, inflation is here. Yeah, the great pumpkin is here. The inflation monster is here. And the more people that realize this, the more people are going to start stockpiling. So much so that the mainstream media has actually started accusing people of being hoarders. Now, there's a big problem with identifying or labeling people as hoarders. I am not a hoarder. John is not a hoarder. Jolene is not a hoarder. You are not a hoarder. Hoarding is illegal, if not just immoral. Preppers are storing goods for themselves in such a manner as to not cause problems for others. Okay? Hoarding supposedly makes it difficult for others to buy stuff. I did not go to the store and buy every can of condensed milk so that nobody else can buy it. That is hoarding. Okay? But they're going to start calling people hoarders. It's another way to use sophistry, that is the redefining of words in order to create an effect, in order to label or identify someone else as, at the very least, immoral or naughty, and at worst, a fucking criminal. The same way, folks, government bureaucracy and that asshole Merrick Garland and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have identified or re-identified and classified parents as domestic terrorists. And I want to remind everyone, every single FBI agent out there has a degree in law. That is, they have a Juris Doctorate. Whether or not they passed a bar exam, I don't know about that part. But they have a law degree. That is, they should know the law. But what better way to break the law than to know it so well as to slip between the raindrops without ever getting wet? To avoid the entanglements of restrictions by things like the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. To use their presumed authority to bully, buffalo, and bullshit the people of the United States into thinking they are the real authorities. Well, the people are on to you, the FBI, folks. The people are on to the FBI. It is time to grow a pair and identify those in this country that are fucking our country up. And that's why I don't have a problem naming names and naming bureaucrats, folks. Where am I going to be in 5 years if these people win the fucking game? I'm going to be dead in 5 years or sooner if we don't start saying what needs to be said, using your First Amendment right, freedom of speech, freedom of political speech, freedom of religious speech, all freedom of speech, all of the press, and standing up for your rights. And also, folks, using the Second Amendment. I use the Second Amendment as a shield, not as an offensive weapon. My Second Amendment rights at this time are a shield. That is saying that you will not come after me or anyone else I know, because the Second Amendment is right there saying I have a right to self-defense. And if I'm being attacked by an enemy of this country or a personal enemy, that is, I'm not a criminal and broken no law. And if someone seeks to falsely accuse me of such, just as our founding fathers and patriots were being accused in 1776, 75, 74, 73, 72, 71, being arrested under false pretenses, being charged with false crimes, and being tried in false courts. That is exactly what they're doing right now, and I fucking know it. We all know it. The United States government out of the District of Columbia is filing false charges. They're misapplying the law. They're misinterpreting the law. They're lying, they're cheating, and they're stealing. And they're doing it in broad daylight, claiming to be the authorities, folks, when they're not. I am not going to live under that government, folks, and I won't. I live in a state, a free and sovereign state. And I am a natural-born citizen. And I have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I have a right to self-defense against false accusations, up to and including the point that if I believe my life is at risk, then I will defend it with all things certain within my power. Like John, I can be a nasty motherfucker when crossed. And a lot of you are the same. Now, I'm not glamorizing glorifying, encouraging anything unlawful, violent, or dangerous. I'm stating the way many people in this country think. I'm putting to words the thoughts that many of you have, because I have had letters sent to us, written to us, explained that people have had enough. And so all of these little actions happening up in Washington are being done to create the pretense, the visualization, right? People are supposed to visualize and go, they're all powerful, that nobody can stand up to them. It's Washington, D.C., and they're always right. And they know what's going on. No, it's a big fucking lie. And they know it. Everything is a fucking money and power hustle. And Washington, D.C. knows it. They know it, folks. They know they are violating the Constitution. They know they're violating everyone's rights. They know it. And as long as no one is stopping them, they're going to continue until the point where they become so tyrannical, they think that they're never wrong and that people will always believe them. It's not how it is anymore, folks. We're seeing who they are and what they're doing. We're seeing what they're doing to Americans, like the 20-year retired Army Special Forces Master Sergeant, who's been arrested for attending a political rally in Washington, D.C., having committed no crime, but having offended the FBI for not becoming an informant, an agent provocateur, for failing to accept their offer to become a dupe, a stooge, a kiss-ass, a bootlicker. And he's now been arrested and is being held, I believe, in Pinellas County Jail, Florida, being held on behalf of the federal government. Unfucking believable. Who's next? I don't think I'm going to allow myself to be arrested by these people, because I was never in Washington, D.C. Does that mean they couldn't show up and say, yes, you were? Could they Photoshop me into one of their videos and say, look, there's Jim right there? This is America, but that doesn't mean there isn't evil running rampant. Let us move on. David says, in your opinion, what is the survivability of an EMP versus nuclear detonation? Your survivability of an EMP is 99.999%. I'm sure there are going to be people driving around in an electric car who are going to be going really fast, and an EMP, were it to go off, would disable the vehicle 100% and either explode the batteries or cause the car to run into something and kill them. Those are going to be the type of people that die. Everyone else, if the power goes off, they're like, well, fuck, I guess we're walking. I guess we're lighting candles. I guess we're cooking on the barbecue tonight. You know, worst case scenario for an EMP. As far as a nuclear detonation, a nuclear bomb, an atomic bomb, if it's a dirty bomb, then you've got your a neutron bomb and your other super high-tech weapons. Those will just blow you to fucking pieces, turn you into a pile of goo. Your survivability rate for those is, well, depends on if you're in the effective casualty radius of one, but a lot more people would die, folks, instantly in a nuclear war. An EMP war will just create mass chaos. Mass chaos. So if I had a choice between the two, I'd definitely go with the EMP. Because I don't want to wake up and understand and know that millions of people had been radiated, burned, or worse. I tell you, folks, it has been a hell of a week. Every week that John comes on and starts talking about this shit, it's like, geez, dude, I know we worked on this, but the way you talk about it, it just sounds like hell on earth. And that's what these people want, folks. That's what these Democrat socialists want. These fascists playing into their own hands to create wealth for themselves while giving communism to the little people. They're creating hell on earth where everyone is equally miserable while they retain their power. Here's a fun fact Coming from the big giant head, Dr. Doom became director in 1984. Orwell much? Oh, yeah, not to mention, it was revealed this week that Dr. Doom himself has gotten bonuses for all of the great work he's done in bioweaponology. I have to say, how is it that you can get a job on your little tight white ass, your little midget ass? Not only do you get the top job, but you get fucking bonuses on top of it. I did not know that government jobs paid bonuses. Corporations, yeah, working for mom and pop, you did a good job. Here's a bonus. The government goes, you've done a great job fucking the world up. Here you go. Here's a bonus. Where is the bonus? Where in the Constitution is the bonus? Unbelievable. Steve, USMC No Tolerance, says this: Big Marge has filed 6 articles of impeachment against Biden today. Fucking A, awesome. I tell you what, if I were to get married again, it would probably be to a woman like Big Marge. I too have had a divorce, but yeah, Big Marge. She's got balls, folks. She has spine. She has cojones. She has coconuts. She has huevos. In all truth, though, just in sheer respect, the woman doesn't put up with a lot of shit. Admirable. She seems very logical. She seems to use reason. Good for her, and good for Georgia, and good for the people of the United States of America. Now, sadly, she's filed these articles of impeachment in a Congress where there aren't enough votes to even bring it to a motion on the floor. Her articles of impeachment die in committee. They die in committee. So it is largely a political protest. It is largely a public relations move. It is symbolic and no more, sadly. But I do like Big Marge. I do like her attitude. I do like her no nonsense, fuck you, I don't agree with your bullshit attitude. I tell you what, thank you, Jolene. She says, that's all, Jim, folks. That's all, folks. That's it. The week is done. But don't think for a fucking second that more shit isn't going to hit the fan this weekend and that next week is going to be any better. They're going to continue to drive this shit at us. And your stand-in host here, Jim, for John. I'll be here all next week, seeing if I can keep this up. Now I know why every now and then he says, he's like, Jim, can I have you step in for me today? Just put on one of those T-shirts I sent you, act like me, and get the job done. I get it. I get it now. It is hard to do this, folks, 7 days a week, 24/7. Now, for myself, like John and so many of you, I do all my own research. I look as much as I can and as much as I can stomach, as much as I can tolerate. But thank God for the Prepared Mind Network. Thank God for the internet. Thank God for being God. Thank you very much, dude. Right? Thank you for waking me up, for bringing the facts, the truth into focus so that I can see what's out there, what's really happening. For encouraging my faith, Semper Fi, always faithful. For illuminating the way, the path, right? The path. What is the path, folks? Being faithful, being a good, decent human being, treating everyone the way you want to be treated, aka the golden rule. Do you think that Joe Biden is living by the golden rule? Treat others the way I would want to be treated. So what is he treating people to? Demands and punishment. Is that what Joe Biden wants for himself, to have demands made upon his rights and to judge him and to punish him? I don't think so. That's not what he wants for himself. But then again, none of the elites believe that those rules apply to them. Here we go, folks. I want you to take a little time off for the weekend. Relax if you can. Smile. Have some jokes, as John recommends. Right? Have a little bit of humor, a little bit of fun. Realize that our lives are kind of jacked up. But that doesn't mean you can't see the goodness in them to some degree while we put up with all of this shit and while we prepare for what is coming. Godspeed. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi. And I'll see you guys in the Worldwide Weekly wrap-up tomorrow. And then I'll see you Sunday Night Live, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Bring your beverage, bring your bums, bring your brains, and we will get it on at the zoo. And man, oh man, that's going to be fun for me. Until then, hasta luego, right? Or should I say, vaya con Dios.